Hey everyone, welcome to the live Q&A. I really appreciate you being here. If you're watching this on a replay, thanks so much for tuning in. A special hello to Sharon. She, I see, has put her name in the chat, and I appreciate that. And I also see Rosemarie. So hello especially to you as well. So I'm not sure what the weather is like in your area, but yesterday in Pittsburgh, around the time I would have done this live, I lost power for a little while here. And so today we were supposed to have thunderstorms as well. And thankfully, it seems to have cleared out, so I'm not too concerned about that. I think we'll get through the live. If you have a question while I'm going through the live, put the question in the comments box, and if I don't get to it today, I promise that I will get to it the next live. But if you need an answer quickly, send me an email, respond to the email that I sent you this morning, and I promise to get back to you as quickly as I can. I see that Artis is here as well. Hi, Artis. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate that. And so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to try to keep this under 40 minutes if I can, and because I hate to take up too much of your time. And I have 11 questions, so let's go ahead and get started with the first question. The first question is, why does my iPhone and iPad lock so quickly? That's a great question. That is a security feature that Apple has placed so that, you know, if you're inactive on your iPhone for a period of time, your iPhone will close and lock. But you can change the amount of time. So if you come into the Settings app and you come down to Display and Brightness, and you'll look for Auto Lock, and you'll see that right now I have mine on Never, but that's only because I'm doing this live. If you tap on Auto Lock, you'll see that you have the options from 30 seconds to 5 minutes. Well, the default is 30 seconds. And so sometimes you set your iPhone down for a minute and you feel like you're always unlocking your phone. So that's how you can change the auto lock settings. If you want to do it on your iPad, you'll come into the Settings app, same way. You'll come into Display and Brightness. You'll come to Auto Lock, and the default here is 2 minutes. On my iPad, I usually set it to 5, and then if I'm inactive for 5 minutes, it's going to close and lock. And for my iPhone, I usually set it for about 1 to 2 minutes. So that's how you change the auto lock on your iPhone and your iPad. All right, let's come back. Question number 2. Why doesn't Face ID always recognize my face? Again, that is a security issue. So when you set up your Face ID the first time, you have to look directly into the camera and do everything that the Face ID settings tell you to do. And if you don't do it exactly right, you might have trouble when you go to unlock your iPhone. The other thing is, if you go to unlock your iPhone and you're not looking directly at the camera, then Face ID doesn't always work. So again, there is a setting for that. So I'm going to come into the settings, and this time I'm going to come back to the main settings area, and I am going to come down to Face ID and passcode, and I'm going to put in my passcode. And you'll see that you have some options here. You can reset your Face ID and do it all over again, and hopefully that will help correct the issue. You also have the option to set up an alternate appearance. So for somebody who wears a hat, or maybe a gentleman that grows a beard during the year but shaves it off in the summertime, you can actually set up alternate appearances or glasses. As you can see, Face ID with the mask, and it also says one pair of glasses added. When I originally set up Face ID, it recognized that I wear glasses, and so it added that there. But here's the setting that you can really look at, is this require attention for Face ID. In the summertime, if you wear sunglasses, there's a good chance Face ID won't recognize you. But if you toggle this switch off, it doesn't have to see your eyes. And so this is a way that you can kind of skirt around that issue of looking directly into the camera. Turn that toggle switch off and see if Face ID works better for you. All right. Question number 3. How can I make the icons larger on my iPhone and iPad? On the iPad, it's pretty easy. If you come in to the settings area, and now you're going to go to home screen and dock, and there is a toggle switch that you can turn on. So if I turn that on and I swipe out, you'll see that my icons have been enlarged. So you can toggle that switch on if you think that you need a little bit bigger icons on your iPad. I'm going to toggle that off, and now you can see the difference. On your iPhone, it's not quite the same. On your iPhone, they don't have that little toggle switch to enlarge the icons. Maybe Apple will change that in a future update, maybe iOS 16, but I haven't heard anything about that. But if you come into the Settings app, and this time you're going to go to Display and Brightness on the iPhone, scroll to the very bottom, and you're going to see an option for Display Zoom. So if I tap on that, you'll see two options here. I can use this zoomed option, and what's going to happen is the controls are going to get a little bigger, the text is going to get a little bit bigger, and you'll see that when I set it. So once you tap on zoomed, tap on set, it's going to warn you that it's going to restart your iPhone. It really just takes seconds. So I'm going to say used zoomed, and you can't see it, but my iPhone went dark, and now it's coming back. And so now when I swipe out and I come to a page that has my icons on it, you'll see that the icons are zoomed in a little bit, and the text underneath the icons is a little bit bigger. So that's how you have to do it on the iPhone if you want to enlarge your icons. All right, moving on to question number 4. Why does music suddenly play on my iPhone and iPad? This question really, I could not find a good answer for it. I researched it, and there's many people that have this issue that all of a sudden music will start playing. They have no idea why, and there's really no clear solution for it. But I'm going to give you a couple of options that might help. If you come on the iPhone and you swipe down from the upper right corner to get into the control center, you'll see an option here where there's music that would be playing in this option. So for right now, I am just going to start a book here for a second so you can see
But from what you said,
happens.
Cal might have
And I'm
done
gonna
Stamos
swipe
himself.
down,
He
and
might
now you'll
have.
see that
There might not have
option,
been time
I
to
don't
hire a
think you can
gun.
hear it because
By the way, how
Apple
did she
won't let
die?
you while I'm live
Ekman
streaming.
glanced at
But you
Shoemaker.
can see that it's playing.
It goes no
And
further,
if I want
Divine.
to stop it, all I
It
need
won't.
to do is press
The killer drugged
on
her.
the pause button. And that'll stop the music. The other thing that you can do, so if you hear music playing, that's the first thing to do. Swipe down, go into the control center, and see if music is playing in the music app or the audio app inside of Control Center. Once you've done that and you've stopped it from playing, the next best option is to swipe halfway up your screen to come into the app switcher. Find the app that was playing in the background and close it. So if I swipe this app away, that's Audible. If I come back to the control center, you'll see that it's been removed because I've shut down that app. And so now that app shouldn't accidentally play in the background. And this could happen to you on Safari if you're watching a video on Safari, or you're listening to a podcast or anything like that. So if you hear something playing in the background, find the app that's causing the audio and flick it away. Close it down completely, and that should help. All right, moving on to question number 5. How can I enlarge text on the iPhone and iPad? This is a really great feature that Apple added in iOS 15. If you come into the control center on your iPhone or your iPad, so I'll swipe down, you'll see that I have these AA icon, which is a text icon. If you aren't seeing that in your control center, let me show you how to get it there. Just come into the settings app, go to control center. If it's not there, so let me remove it for a second, and now you'll see that it's not there. Find it under more controls. So you'll see text size. Go ahead and hit the plus sign. That will add it to the included controls. And you can move these controls to anywhere you want in the control center. So if you want something, closer to the beginning, just drag it in the order that you want to see it. So now if I swipe down in the control center, you'll see the AA. If I tap on the AA, here's what's great about this option. I can choose to increase the text size in all apps. So right now the text size is listed as 100%. So I could increase in all apps, but what's really great is if I just want to increase it in the settings app where I am, I'm going to make it pretty large so that you can see what happens. And now let me tap out of there. And now you can see that in the settings app, everything has become larger. So that's a really great way to increase text size application, like per individual application. So let me swipe back down. I'll tap on the AA's. I'm going to drop this down a little bit. So, and then I'll come out. So now it's at 110%, and I feel like that's a pretty good size for me. So if you're having difficulty seeing text inside of an app, go ahead and use that AA text display to increase the size of the text. Let me show you what it looks like on the iPhone in another type of an app. I'm going to come into the messaging app, and I'll swipe down from the top. I'll tap on the double A's and I'll increase it again pretty large. And when I come out, you'll see what happens. So you can do this per application. You can increase the text size in any application. I'm going to bring that back down a little bit. So that's how to make the text larger inside of an application or throughout the whole device. Question number 6. What is the red dot on my Apple Watch? So the red dot on your Apple Watch is just an indication that you have a notification. So as you can see, I have a flashing red dot, and so that means I have a new notification on my watch. And so if I swipe down from the top, it takes me into the notification. I can choose to clear all the notifications, or if I want to see what that notification is, I can tap on it. I can read it, and I can swipe through it, and I can dismiss it when I'm done. If I don't dismiss it, I'm going to go ahead and just back out for a second. If I don't dismiss it, the red dot will go away, but if I swipe back in, you'll see that the notification is still there. But because it's not a new notification, the red dot is gone. So now at this point, I'll just tap clear all, and now all of my notifications have been removed from my Apple Watch. So the red dot just means you have a new notification. Question number 7, how can I make incoming calls full screen? That is a great question because a lot of people really don't like this new feature that Apple has placed in, I think it was iOS 15, where if you're in any application, you are going to see a banner that comes up. And most people find that it's difficult to touch that green or red circle when you want to accept the call or end the call. And so most people want that full screen effect. So they want to see this and answer it this way. People seem to think that this is a little bit easier. So we can change that. Let me show you how to do that. Just come into your iPhone and tap on Settings. Scroll down until you see Phone. Look for incoming calls. Tap on that and then go ahead and just change that from banner to full screen. Hopefully if you're having difficulty answering your phone or ending a call, that's the easiest way to do it. Because once you accept that call, that banner goes up into the left-hand corner of your device and you have to tap on that to end the call. Where this, it's full screen the whole time. All you have to do is tap on it to end the call. So that's where you would change from banner to full screen. Okay. I think that was question, 7. Yes. So let's go ahead and go on to question number 8. I have several devices, a Mac Pro, iPad, and iPhone. How do I make sure they all coordinate with each other? So I'm going to guess that the individual wants to make sure that all of the data is syncing across all of her devices. So let me come over to the iPad Pro, and I'm inside the Settings app. I'm going to go ahead and tap on my name at the top, which is where your Apple ID is. And then I'm going to tap on iCloud. What you want to make sure is, first of all, that all of your devices are using the same Apple ID. Sometimes there's some confusion that when people set up a new device, they set it up with a new Apple ID. And then your devices won't talk to each other because the IDs are separate. So if you want all of your data to sync across all of your devices, make sure that you're signed in to one Apple ID across all your devices, and then come into the iCloud settings and make sure that you have the toggle switches turned on to allow the data to sync. So just to give you an idea, if I had my contacts on my iPad turned off, but I had it turned on my iPhone, the contacts probably would be different. If I added something to my contacts on my iPad, then I might not see it on my iPhone. So you just want to make sure that you've toggled the switches on the applications that you want to sync data across all of your devices. Question number 9. What keyboards work well with the iPad? So I have an iPad Pro, which I absolutely love. And for me, the keyboard that I will always recommend to someone who has an iPad Pro is the Magic Keyboard. And this is the keyboard from Apple. And it really is just a great device, but it's expensive. So you may not want to invest in that keyboard, but if you have an iPad Pro, this most definitely is the top of the line keyboard for your iPad Pro. And it comes in 2 sizes. If you have an 11-inch iPad Pro, there's an 11-inch keyboard, and a 12.9-inch iPad Pro, there's a 12.9-inch keyboard. But let's just say that you have a regular iPad, or if you don't want the expense, these are the keyboards. Whoops, sorry about that. Let me come back out of there for a second. And take this away. There we go. So now these are the 3 keyboard manufacturers that I think work really well with iPads. Brydge, Zag, and Logitech. And I think you'll find that their keyboards are a lot less expensive than Apple's. I want to say the Magic Keyboard can run anywhere from $299 for the 11-inch to $349 for the 12.9-inch, unless you can find them on sale. But these keyboards will work just as well. They just might not have some of the fancy things that the Apple keyboards do. But they're great keyboards. Okay, so I think that was question number 9. Let me move ahead to question number 10. Why are my message bubbles green? So there's really only 2 reasons that your message bubbles would be green, and that would be if you're conversing with somebody who's on an Android device, your message bubbles are going to be green because they're not using Apple's proprietary system, which is iMessage. So the only other reason would be if you don't have iMessage turned on. So to make sure that you have iMessage turned on, come into settings, tap on messages, and then make sure that this toggle switch is turned on. What's really great about iMessage is that you're able to send messages even if you're on Wi-Fi, and those messages are encrypted. So if you have an iPad that is non-cellular, that it doesn't have a cellular connection but is just Wi-Fi, you can still use iMessages. And so that's what's so great about it. You can use it on an iPhone, an iPad, a Mac, an iPod Touch if you have one, and iMessages will work fine on any of those devices over Wi-Fi, and the messages will be encrypted. Now, the other thing I'll remind you is where it says send and receive, you want to make sure that you check off the email addresses. And I don't want to tap in there to reveal my email addresses, but you just want to make sure that you check off the email addresses that you want to be able to send and receive iMessages from. I also, on my phone, have checked off my phone number. So just take a look on your devices in that area and just make sure you've toggled on iMessage and then checked off the emails that you want to receive iMessages. Okay. Let me come back. And we'll go to our last question. How do I convert an email to a PDF document? You might be wondering, like, why would I even need to do that? Well, sometimes you might receive an email that has a lot of good information in it, and so you want to save that information, but you don't want to print the email out. So there's an easy way to convert an email to a PDF document and then save it to your Files app. And so that saves paper, it saves printing, it saves ink, and it's always on your device. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and tap on the mail icon. And you can see here that I have an email here that it's not too long, but it's long enough. And it has some information that maybe I want to save for later or for future reference. I'm going to tap on the little arrow in the bottom right corner, and the option menu is going to appear. And so I can choose to reply or forward, but I'm going to choose print. Even though we're not going to print anything, I'm going to tap on print. And you're going to see that some thumbnails appear on the left side of the print options. If I pinch and zoom out on that first thumbnail or any thumbnail, you'll see that the email opens to full screen and it's been converted now to a PDF. And if I tap on the share icon at the top of the screen, the square with the arrow, I'll have an option to save that, and you can see that it's a PDF document underneath the title. If I tap on Save to Files, I can change the title if I choose to down here. If I just tap into there, I can change the title. For now, I'm going to go ahead and leave it as it is. I can also choose to download it to just iCloud Drive. I can create a new folder if I want by tapping on the folder with the plus icon, or I can add it to any of these folders that I've already created. For right now, I'm just going to save it to iCloud. So I'm going to tap Save, and now that PDF document is over on iCloud or over in the Files app. I'm going to tap on Done. I'm going to tap anywhere outside of the print option to get rid of that, and I'll swipe out of Mail. Now I'll come into the Files app, and you'll see that the email that I turned into a PDF document is located right here. I can tap on it to open. And so now that document will remain on my device for future reference for any time that I need it. So I hope this helps any of you that might want to, turn an email into a PDF. So let me go ahead and tap on Done and come back to the screen. And so that's pretty much all I have today is 11 questions. Thanks so much, artists. I appreciate that. I hope everybody's getting something out of these Q&As. When I'm finished, I will put chapters in them so that if you want to come back and just skip to a section that maybe you want to review, you'll be able to do that. The link that you have, that you received this morning, will always bring you back to this live Q&A, or at least it'll bring you back to the recording. Hey, Amber, thanks for tuning in. Hey, Jaylene. Hi, Crystal. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate this. This has been so much fun for me. I'm still not, I still don't have everything down pat, but I'm getting there. So, and I appreciate your support. If anybody has any questions, I'll stick around for a few seconds. But if not, send me your questions. Use the email that I sent you this morning. Hit reply, ask a question. I'll add it to the live, or I'll respond to you. Because if you have a question, I can guarantee you so many people have that same question. So go ahead and send me the questions that you have. Thanks, Rosemarie. I'm so glad that this has been useful. This really is fun for me. I enjoy doing this. Thanks, Sharon. So anyway, if nobody has any questions, I'm going to go ahead and sign off like I always do. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.